One of the biggest insiders in President Trump's inner circle is going to prison. Michael Cohen was the president's longtime attorney and so-called fixer. KCAL 9 political reporter Dave Bryan has more now on today's sentencing and reaction.
Yeah,
Dave?
and Juan, Cohen was cooperating with the special counsel. He thought that he was going to get more of a break, but that didn't happen today. The 3-year sentence for Michael Cohen is, as Juan said, the most prison time yet for anyone convicted of crimes related to the special counsel on the Russia investigation. And while it may be a strong signal to those who are still under investigation, most of the questions tonight focus on what impact this will have on President Trump. As Michael Cohen arrived at federal court in Manhattan Wednesday, he was prepared to deliver an emotional apology and a sharp condemnation of President Trump. And so the president's former attorney appeared to be fighting back tears as he told the judge, "Today is the day I get my freedom back." And he said working for Trump was like mental and physical incarceration. But the judge had another kind of incarceration in mind. He described Cohen's crimes as a veritable smorgasbord of fraudulent conduct. Somewhere along the way, he said, Cohen lost his moral compass and then sentenced him to 3 years, 36 months in prison. Cohen shook his head in disbelief. In August, the man known as President Trump's fixer flipped on his former boss and pleaded guilty to tax evasion and campaign finance violations. Then, in November, he struck a deal with the special counsel's office, agreeing to cooperate with the investigation into Russian election meddling in 2016. It was Cohen who confirmed for investigators that candidate Trump directed him to pay off 2 women who claimed they had sexual affairs with Trump to keep them quiet and win the election. And it worked. But President Trump may now be culpable because he allegedly directed the payments to influence the outcome of the presidential election, tying him to criminal activity, presidential denials notwithstanding. No. Reaction came quickly on Capitol Hill on what it means for Trump and the Russia investigation.
Anytime a former lawyer of yours goes to jail is probably not a good day, but I've yet to see any evidence coming from Mr. Cohen of collusion.
I also note that the central lesson of Watergate is that no one is above the law. The American people did not revote when Nixon was impeached. I don't believe the American people are going to revote if the facts and law show that the president should be impeached.
Prosecutors also announced today that American Media, the company that owns the tabloid National Enquirer, admitted to working hand in hand with Cohen and making a $150,000 payment to model Karen McDougal to suppress her story so as to prevent it from influencing the election. Burbank Congressman Adam Schiff, who's in line to become the next chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, said that agreement with American Media adds more credibility to Cohen's charges about Trump's role in the payoffs.
What that means is this is not simply Michael Cohen's word against Donald Trump's. It is now Donald Trump's word against everyone else, that there are witnesses at AMI who will testify these payments were made for the express purpose of influencing the election.
At the White House, President Trump did not respond when reporters shouted questions about his former personal attorney.
Mr. President, in reaction to Michael Cohen's sentencing.
But the president's current personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, was more than willing to sound off on the day's events, telling CBS News Michael Cohen lied in court today. He said his greatest mistake was loyalty to Trump. What loyalty? Now, the judge ordered Cohen to begin serving his prison sentence on March 6th at a federal prison in southeastern New York State, about 70 miles northwest of New York City. And on top of that, Cohen was ordered to pay nearly $2 million in financial penalties. The New York Times reports Cohen is a multimillionaire who owns expensive real estate and a taxi medallion business.